Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another Harry Potter crochet from the Harry Potter Crochet Kit that we got a little while ago by Lucy Collin. Today we're going to be making Harry Potter. He's going to be about 4 inches tall. This is what he's going to look like. The materials that you're going to need for this kit are listed here. If you guys don't have the kit itself, you can pick up these materials. We're going to start off with the head and body. Then we're going to work onto the legs, arm, and then finish off with the hair. And for this one, we have our cream colored yarn. They call this peach, but this is just a light skin colored yarn. We have black, light gray, dark gray, yellow for a detail on the tie, white for the collar of his sweater detail, brown for his hair, and burgundy for the stripe detail on his sweater. We also have a 3.5mm hook, a stitch marker, the safety eyes that were included in the kit. These are a 7.5mm safety eye. There's also a tapestry needle in here as well. And make sure you have some scissors on the side. I also have some polyfill or stuffing off on the side. You'll have that as we're going to stuff him later on in the video. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with the head and the body using the cream color yarn, and I'm going to get set up and I'll meet you right back. So this Harry Potter crochet is pretty simple. It only uses a few different stitches. We're going to be using a chain. So to make a chain, you do a slip knot. You grab your tail here and here, twisting it clockwise, grabbing your working yarn, pulling through. So, grabbing your tail over here, your working yarn over here, put your fingers through, create a twist, grab your working yarn and pull it through. That creates your slip knot. To do a chain, you're going to hold your tail and your working yarn. Doing our chain stitch, we're going to yarn over, hook the yarn, and pull it through. And that's your chain. So yarn over, hook your yarn, pull through. We're also going to be doing a single crochet. So to do a single crochet, we're going to go into one of our chains. You're going to go into your chain, grab your yarn, pull it through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your single crochet. When you have 2 stitches together, which is a decrease, you're going to go into 1 stitch, pull through, into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 2 stitches together. You're also going to be doing a back loop only. So here we have our front loop and our back loop. And a back loop only is when you go through just the back loop of your work. And we can do a single crochet just in the back loop. So you have the 2 V's just in the back loop. Those are about all the stitches that we're going to be working with. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our Harry Potter. Getting started with the head. The first round is a chain 2 and work 6 single crochets into the first chain. You can achieve the same thing by doing a magic ring. I'll show you both ways. So the first way that they want you to do it is a chain 2. So we grab our yarn, hold your tail in your first and thumb finger, your working yarn, twist it around, grabbing your working tail to make your slip knot. Once you have your slip knot, we're going to do a chain 2. So chain 1, grab your yarn, pull through, chain 2. Into this first chain here, this is where we're putting our 6 single crochets. So go into the first chain, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and 6. The only reason that I don't like doing it this way is because it leaves this opening on your work when you do the chain 2 method instead of doing the magic ring. I can never get it seam to be any smaller, but this is how you do the chain 2 method. I'm going to undo this and I'm going to show you how to do it with a magic ring. So for our magic ring, we take our tail, lay it over our 2 fingers, hold it in place, wrap it around your finger, around our finger, under the bottom, back across the top, making an X. Grab with your pinky, take your hook, go under the first strand, over the second strand, pull down, twist it towards your body, up like this, grab your working yarn, twisting your hook down and pulling it through. That makes your magic ring. If you need a slower video of how to do a magic ring, I have one on my channel. Or if you change the settings on your videos, you can slow down the video here in your YouTube settings at the playback speed, and you can slow the video down so you can watch it slower. Once you have your magic ring, I'm going to take these 2 yarns and I'm going to hold it with my thumb and second finger, using my first finger to create tension, and my pinky holds my tail. We're going to go into the magic circle, grab your yarn, and pull it through with our 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. That's a single crochet. So inside the circle, grab your yarn, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. So in, grab, up, holding these in place. I let go of the circle down here. I grab the stitches that I've worked, yarn over, and pull through. And grabbing my stitches here that I've already worked keeps the same tension on all my stitches so that my stitches are the same size. So we have 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you have your 6 single crochets in your magic ring, take your tail and pull it tight. Just like this. This is the only round where I'm going to do a slip stitch. The rest of the rounds are going to be worked as continuous stitches since the pattern doesn't state to do a slip stitch. So once it's pulled tight, I'm going to go into the first stitch that we did, put my hook through, grab my yarn, pull it through, and I'm also going to pull it through here. And that's your slip stitch. So getting started for round 2. Round 2 is going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. So since I'm not doing a chain 1, we're just working in continuous rounds. So there is no, after this, there is no slip stitch, there is no chain 1, it's just a continuous round. And you'll have your stitch marker to help keep track. So into the same stitch that we did our slip stitch, we're going to put our hook through again, grab our yarn, pull it up, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 single crochet. Into the same stitch, do another single crochet. This is considered an increase, like this. So we're going to take our stitch marker and put it in the first stitch that we did. And we're going to continue with 2 single crochets in each stitch. So into the next stitch, put your hook through, grab your yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2. Put your hook through, grab your yarn over, pull through 2. That's 4, and you're going to keep going with 2 single crochets in each stitch. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 12 stitches, and I'll meet you guys back. Alright, so this is round 2. This is our 12 stitches. For round 3, we're going to be doing 2 single crochets in one stitch and then a single crochet in the next. So in your next stitch, we're going to put your hook through. My stitches are a little tight in this last round, so it's giving me a little difficulty. So once you get your hook through, you're going to grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Into the same stitch, put your hook through again, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your first 2 stitches. That's your increase stitch. Put your hook in the first stitch that you did. And then the next stitch, we're doing a single crochet. So into the next stitch, put through, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's the sequence. 2 single crochets, a regular single crochet. So into the next stitch, 2 single crochets. So 1, 2. Into the next stitch, 1 single crochet. You're going to keep doing that, repeating 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet. You'll repeat that a total of 6 times. You'll have 18 stitches at the end, and I'll meet you guys back at the end. Finish round 3. We're going to take a second to count our stitches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we have a total 18 stitches. We're going to take our stitch marker out and get ready for round 4. Round 4 is going to be 2 single crochets in the next and 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So into the next stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets, so an increase. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. Very similar to the last round. Once you get your first 2 single crochets in, put your stitch marker in, and then into the next 2 stitches you're going to do 1 single crochet. So in the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, single crochet. So I'm going to show you the sequence again. It's going to be an increase of 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. You're going to repeat this sequence again, 2 single crochets, and then a single crochet, single crochet. At the end of round 4, you're going to have a total of 24 stitches. You'll repeat this sequence of an increase and 2 single crochets, a total of 6 times. So this is our round 4. We have 24 stitches. So rounds 5 through 11 are going to be the same. It's going to be a total of 7 rounds of single crochets. So to start off with round 5, you're just going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're just doing single crochets. So I'm going to put down about 3 single crochets, get your stitch marker, place your stitch marker here. And then you're going to continue with 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. You're going to have 24 stitches. Between round 5 through 11, it will stay the same. You should have 24 stitches in each one. Use your stitch marker. It's very easy to lose count when you're doing continuous rounds rather than having a chain 1 space. So guys, we'll meet you back at the end of round 11. Okay, so I did rounds 5 through 11. Now this is the shape of the head that we have so far. I still have 24 stitches. So for round 12 is going to be our first decrease round, where we're going to do 2 stitches together and then a couple of single crochets. So For round 12, we're going to take out our stitch marker. And this round is starting off with a decrease. And a decrease uses 2 stitches and puts them together. So into the next stitch, you're going to put your hook in, yarn over, grab your yarn, pull through. Now we have 2 loops. Into the next stitch, put your hook through, grab your yarn, pull through. Now we have 3 loops. And doing our decrease, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And that's your decrease. That's your first stitch of the round. Into the next 2 stitches, you're going to do 1 single crochet. So in the next stitch, single crochet. Into the next stitch, single crochet. So we've worked a total of 3 stitches. Get your stitch marker. So you can see here how your decrease stitch is a little different, and then your 2 single crochets. So mark your decrease stitch here. That's the first stitch of the round, and then 2 single crochets. So we're going to repeat the sequence one more time. So into the next stitch, we're going to do a decrease. So into the next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, 3 stitches, yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3. And then in the next stitch, single crochet. In the next stitch, single crochet. You're working in sets of 3, so a decrease and 2 single crochets. You're going to repeat that a total of 6 times. At the end of round 12, you'll have a total of 18 stitches. So this is the round 12. You can see a little bit that this round is slightly smaller than the last one. So I'm going to pull this up just a little bit so it stays in place to get my hook out of the way. And we're going to place the eyes. We're going to go ahead and place the eyes in. So now that we have his eyes in, we're going to get started on round 13. So it's another decrease round. So we're going to take out our stitch marker. In round 13, we're starting with a decrease. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, next stitch, yarn over, pull through. Same way we did on round 12. Pull through all 3. And then a single crochet into the next stitch. So this sequence is going to be a decrease. So next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then single crochet. That's a total of 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Place our stitch marker and continue repeating this sequence. At the end of round 13, you're going to have 12 stitches, and you'll repeat the sequence a total of 6 times. We finish round 13, and before we get started with round 14, so we're going to take his head and we're going to flatten it like this, ensuring that everything is kind of split down half and that his eyes are evenly spaced on both sides. Once you have that, you're going to look at this, and then you're going to come down the center of your work here. And you're going to find the stitch that you consider to be the middle. That's going to be my stitch right here. And then this is the stitch that I'm going to use. This stitch right here. This is the stitch that I'm going to use to start off his gray sweater. So once you find the middle stitch, you're going to go 1 stitch before it, and we're going to mark it because that's the stitch that we're going to be using to start off his sweater. So I have another small stitch marker. And remember, so this for me, this is the middle stitch, but we're going to do 1 stitch before it. So I'm going to take this hook out of the way, And I'm not going to go through the stitch point right here, because while we're working into it in a few minutes, it's going to be worked in there, and I don't want the hook to be in the way. So I'm just going to mark right up here at the top, just so I know which stitch it is. So before we start round 14, we have to change from our peach colored yarn to our medium gray yarn, or the light gray. So I'm going to take out my stitch marker, and to change the color, I'm actually going to undo the last stitch of round 13, and we're going to redo it. So to redo this one and start the gray, we're going to start the single crochet like we normally would, since I'm redoing the last single crochet of round 13. So, and instead of yarning over with the cream color, we're going to just leave the cream color there, grabbing the gray, lay the tail against the head so we can hold it in place. Using your thumb to hold it against your work, pull the cream colored tail to tighten up the loops, and I'm going to hold the cream color yarn with my first finger on this side of the work. I'm going to yarn over with the gray, and I'm pull the gray through both the loops to finish off that single crochet that we undid for round 13. Once that's in place, tighten down your cream so it doesn't go anywhere, and go ahead and place the first single crochet for round 14. While we're doing that first single crochet, I'm laying, we'll try to show you. So I lay the tail on the inside of the previous single crochet round so that we can work the gray yarn around it to secure the tail of the gray in place so it won't come out. So now that we have our first stitch, lay it across the top of the hook, grabbing your working tail of your gray yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through. And we're going to be doing one single crochet in each of these stitches until we get to this point here, in which we're going to change to the white yarn and work 3 single crochets and then switch back. So we have our 1 single crochet, go ahead and do another. And when I get ready to do the next one, to lay this tail piece on top of the stitches and work around that tail piece so that we can secure it into the work. So 2, and 3. Now the tail is too short and we just tuck it into his head. So we have 1, 2, 3. Mark that first stitch and continue until we get to that stitch marker. So 4, 5, and 6. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochets of gray. And we're going to go ahead and switch over to our white. So to switch over to our white, I'm going to do it the same way that I did it for round 13. So take out this 6th single crochet, and we're going to grab our white yarn. And with our white yarn, we're going to do it the same way. Take the tail, lay it across the front, just to hold it in place. Once you have it in place, you're going to go in to that 6th stitch that we took out. Grab your white yarn, pull your white yarn up and through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's finishing that 6th stitch, and then now we're going to pull down this a little bit, and with our white yarn we're going to work 3 single crochets. So into the next stitch with our white, we're going to do a single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Now on this 3rd single crochet using the white, we're going to switch back to the gray. So right now, the gray is still attached over here. So you're going to leave a little bit of slack for the gray. And we're going to pull it through, pull our white. Alright, so grab your gray. Don't pull it too tight, try to leave a little bit of slack so that when we cut it, it won't be pulling the work. So we yarn over, grab our white, pull through our gray, pull it through the white, and pull our white stitch tight. So now we have our 3 white single crochets. So I'm going to show you one more time. So we're going to do the 3rd single crochet of the white, go into that stitch, grab your white, pull it through. Now we have it like this. And instead of finishing off with the white, we're going to finish off with the gray. So grab our gray, pull your gray through the white, finishing off that single crochet, tighten down your white stitch, and now to finish off the rest of the round with the gray, you're going to continue with 1 single crochet for the gray. So into the next stitch, do a single crochet, and so on. Changing the color is the hardest part, but it just takes a little practice. So 2 and 3. So here we have the start of his gray, we did round 14 and we finished off with the gray. Here's my 3 stitches for the collar of his shirt. I took out my eyes because the recommendations they included in the pattern, which are here, so they recommend to do it between rounds 9 and 10 with 5 stitches apart. That's what hers looks like. Here and here. Mine doesn't look like that. Where the eyes weren't lining up with the center of the shirt. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust mine, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So this is how I have it now. This is the center point of his shirt that I marked originally, where we knew to change over to the white yarn. If we look at it down here, we have 3 single crochets with 2 gray on each side, so it's evenly spaced. So now, going back through rounds 9 again, we'll be sure that we're on round 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This right here is rounds 9 and 10. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right here in the middle. So at this point, I would say they don't really tell you at which point of the stitch to do it, but there's going to be 5 stitches in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then probably somewhere one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one right here. And then if we do that, we have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So we'll place this eye right here. Open up his head, shove that eye in there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so for this, for me, looks a lot better than what was recommended on round 12. So this is what I did to adjust it. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches in between. I feel like 5 stitches in between are just too far apart, even though that he's going to have his glasses on. So then now that those are in place, I'm going to go ahead and kind of squish it forward and put the backings back on, and I'll meet you back in just a minute. Alright, so his eyes are in place again after we did the adjustment. Here's everything else. I made sure that each side had 3 stitches while folded flat, 3 stitches on each side of the eye, and there was 4 stitches in between. And for that round 12 had between rounds 9 and 10, those rounds had 24 stitches total in them. So we're going to go ahead and get started with round 15. So we're working the next round in the medium gray with 1 white stitch here in the middle to continue off his collar. So for round 15, and these are the notes for round 15. So they want us to continue with the medium gray, and then we're going to work one of the white stitch in the middle. So we have 3, and we're going to try and line up the white stitch to be in this one right here. And then we're going to do rounds 15. So 2 single crochets in the next, and then a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So let's do that. Right now we're going to leave the gray and white tail attached, but I'm going to go ahead and trim the cream tail. You don't want to trim it close to your work, you just want to trim it with a little bit left. This piece is just going to be in his head. So we have our gray, and leave your white attached because we're going to use it once we get it round. So round 15 should have a total of 15 stitches. So we start off with an increase, 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So an increase, so 1 and 2. That's an increase, and then 1 stitch in the next 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And those are just single crochets. So we've worked a total of 5 stitches, and we're going to put our stitch marker in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place your stitch marker. And then we're going to work another increase. So into the next stitch is an increase, 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets in the same stitch. That's your increase. And then we're going to do 3 single crochets. But we're actually going to do a single crochet into the first white stitch of that last round, pull up, and we're going to seal this stitch off with the white. So lay your gray down, grab your white that's still attached to your work, pull your white through to finish off that single crochet there. Tighten down your gray, hold your gray in place, and into the next stitch you're going to do a single crochet with the white. So grab your white, pull it up. Now we're going to change back to the gray. So lay your white down, grab your gray, yarn over, and pull through with the gray. That does the 1 white stitch that you need for his shirt. So that's 2 single crochets. So this is our 3rd single crochet of the sequence. So far for round 15, we had our increase that we did back here with our first 3 single crochets, and then we did an increase, and then a single crochet of gray, a single crochet of white, and a single crochet of gray. That's your second set of the sequence. You're going to repeat that sequence one more time. So into the next stitch, right here, is going to be an increase. So with our gray, we're going to put in, yarn over, pull through, put in, yarn over, pull through, doing an increase. And then we're going to do 1, 2, so it normally says that you're supposed to do 3. Let's double check and count. Round 15 should have 15 stitches in it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So following the pattern the way it says, I'm only getting 14 stitches. We need a total of 15 to make round 16 work. So I'm going to just do an extra stitch here in this last one. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now we have 15 stitches. Not sure why the pattern come out to 14 for me, but we're going to move on anyways. We no longer need the white, so the same thing that we did the cream, we're going to trim the white. Don't trim it all the way down here or it's going to come out. So leave a little bit of a tail and trim it off. Shove that piece inside the head. We'll get that white out of the way. Continuing with the medium gray, we're going to do round 16. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then a single crochet in the next 4. So we're starting this round again with an increase. So 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets in the same stitch. That's our increase. and then 1 single crochet in the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is a total of 6 stitches, an increase in 4 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the 6th stitch, put your stitch marker. And then we're going to do that same sequence 2 more times for a total of 3 times. So an increase, 1, 2 in the same stitch, and then 4 single crochets, and then repeat it 3 times. At the end of round 16, you'll have a total of 18 stitches. So this is my round 16. This is what he looks like so far. So we have the nice point for his shirt and our round 16. I have 18 stitches here. So now the next thing we're going to do is round 17 through 19. Round 17 through 19 is just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Use your stitch marker in between each of these rounds so you don't lose track while you're working a continuous round. You're going to do a total of 3 rounds in the same color. So I'll meet you back at the end. Remember, you're going to have 18 stitches. Alright, so I finished my rounds 17, 18, and 19. So we have 17, 18, and 19. This is what he looks like so far. Have his little shirt collar right here. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to stuff the head firmly. And then we're going to sew on his face. So I have my stuffing, and we're going to stuff the head. So I'm actually going to take my stitch marker out. I'm going to put it into my last stitch here so that none of my stitches come undone. And then simply just shove a bunch of stuffing here in his head. So while you're stuffing the head, you want to make sure to shape the head the way that you want it to have a nice round shape. And you keep stuffing it until his head is nice and firm. And once you put some of the stuffing in there, if it's bulbing up, you just use your finger to move it around to shape the head into a nice circular shape. So I'll meet you guys back right when I'm ready to start the next step. So the first thing we're going to do is get your black embroidery floss, your needle. Your head is stuffed the way you want it to be. And I'm going to show you here on the book. What we're doing is making his smile and then doing his glasses and his scar. So to make his smile, this is what they have recommended here. They call it an open chain stitch and a blanket stitch. So we're making that open chain stitch and then making a stitch that's going to pull his smile down. You can pause to read the descriptions here if you would like. Alright, so we're going to make his smile. Have our needle here, like this. We're going to go through the bottom here, and we're going to go past the row of his shirt, past this one row here, and up to the second row. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to come over here to this corner stitch. You have his eye, 1 stitch. This is the one I'm going to use. So we're going to come out that stitch there. with our needle, like this. Push your needle up through and pull your thread up and through. Not all the way, leave a little bit of a tail, like this, a little bit of a tail. Once we have it pulled up, I'm going to do 1 stitch, 2 stitch, corner. This is the right side corner of his mouth. Take your needle, push it back through the center. And pull it all the way through. So once we pull it down, it's going to look like this. Now he looks like he has a straight face. So now we're going to come through on this row right here from the inside. So take your needle, push it back on the inside, go up through the row under like this. So we had 1, 2, and we're going to come up through the top side of the second round, where that's the third round where we came up for the corner of the mouth. We're going to come up, pull our thread nice and tight, and we're going to go right back down into the same area that we came out of. So push your needle back in and push it back down through the head. And as you pull it down, this is going to create his smile. And we're going to take our needle and round it a little bit so that it's not such a pointy smile, like this. If you want him to be frowning, you can make him frowning. If you want him frowning, instead of pulling it down, you would pull it up. But here we go. And then we're going to trim this off really quick. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm going to trim it off just a little bit. And then we're going to get started on the glasses. Okay, so for his glasses, what we're going to do, this is going to be 1, 2, and 3 for the bridge of his glasses right here. Or we do just 2 to be his bridge. And then we're going to stitch around to make his glasses. So the same way that I did the smile, I'm going to do his glasses. I'm going to go in beneath, up through to the middle point of his eyes. I'm going to come right here. So we have the shirt round, the top of his collar, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in between what is rounds 5 and 6 right here, that's where I'm going to come in at. So I'm going to pull this up the same way we did for the smile. Don't pull it all the way through. Leave some inside the head so it stays put. So the next stitch that we're going to do, we're going to come over the top of this stitch here, go under this stitch. So over top, under, like this. Pull it through. That's one part of his glasses. Come back. Now that your needle's on this side, you're going to go back through that same stitch and come out the next one next to his eye. So you're going back through this stitch and you're coming out this one over here. And we're going to pull that through. So now we have the second part of his glasses bridge. And we're going to do it again. And we're coming back through this same stitch. And when we come out, we're going to come out up here at the top. And we come out up here, so we're going back into this stitch here, pushing your needle up to come out over here around the eye to start the circle. So we pull this through. Like this. So now we have the bridge of his glasses. So this is what I have so far. Embroidery is not my strong suit, but it's cute anyways. If you want it to be like the picture, they did it a little bit bigger around. So instead of doing it so close how I did, probably do it over here on the next round up. So I pushed it back through. I'm going to pull my thread back through here and get over here to the other side. And I'm going to try and show you what I did on the other side. So I'm going to just push my needle back in here, and I'm going to come out down here, and I'm going to make that straight point at the edge of the glasses like I did on the other side. And then I'm going to make that straight point, making sure to come through that same stitch. I'm going to move the thread over a little bit and pull it a little more snug. Like this. And then we're going to start down here at the bottom. So the first thing I did, I'm going to go into the next stitch here. Like this. Pulling it through. And then going back over the same stitch. And when you come through, come over to the next corner point here, where we're going to start the next back stitch. So pushing it through like this. That creates the first piece. We can adjust it a little bit. And then we're going to come to take this one. Now that it came out over at this top point, we're going to go back through under here. When we go back through under here, you're going to come up to the next corner stitch where you want the next stitch to be. And we're going to pull that through. Like that. For the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to come over here by that stitch where it was originally, and then I'm going to come up where I want the next stitch to start. Come up here, and then come out where we want the next stitch to start. Like this. Go in that same stitch, and then come out this stitch over here. Same place where this corner piece is. And pull it through. And then I'm going to do one more stitch here to close off his glasses. And when I come up, I'm going to come up through the bridge of his glasses right there. like this. And that's what his glasses look like. You can pull the threads, adjust it a little bit, or perfect it on your own on yours. For me, this works for me. And if you're having too hard of a time and you're not good with embroidery like this, if you have a permanent marker or something, you can use the permanent marker to do the same thing. So I'm going to wrap around the corner piece of his glasses here to pull it in a little bit. I'm going to shove it back through his head and down and out the bottom. That's going to pull his glasses a little more circular. Anyways, like this. And this is what he looks like for me. So we'll go ahead and trim off that embroidery floss like that. Leave those two pieces inside. Now that we cut it, after doing our glasses, we still have some black, and we're going to shape a lightning bolt on his head. So I'm going to probably put it right about here, diagonally from his eye. So we're going to go through this stitch right here, and this stitch is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the 8th round, starting from his shirt. So pull it up and through. And then come back through the same stitch. Like this, through the same stitch. And then we're going to do one that's horizontal. And then come back over and then up, making this one just a little longer than the last one. And then come over and back through that same stitch again. Like this. I'm gonna tuck this into his head, and then that creates his little lightning bolt shape. So I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to pull it through the other side of his head, and I'm going to use the needle to pull this bit of thread into the work. Take some time to shimmy that in, or you can take the other side and push it into his head. Like that. And then for this piece, we're going to put it back on the hook. It's funny, I keep saying hook. I'm so used to that. So put that back through, and you're going to just come over it and loop it again and shove it back through his head. And I'm going to shove it down out the bottom of his body, just like that. And now he has a little lightning bolt on his head. So we'll trim this off. And there we go. His face details are done. He has his smile, his glasses, and his lightning bolt. The next thing we're going to do is grab some burgundy and stitch on his tie. So his tie is going to be over where we have 1, 2, and 3 white stitches, and then this one white stitch in the middle. His tie is going to come up from here and go over this white stitch here, and we're going to do 3 laps over the top. So coming up through the bottom, coming through this top stitch right here, coming up, pulling it up, not pulling it all the way through, but pulling majority of it through. Probably made mine a little longer than it needed to be. And then you're going to come back down over this one stitch here, come down the point, push it through, and pull it through. So that's one pass. Go back up through that same stitch, pull it up through, go back down through that same stitch. That's the second one. This is just creating bulk for his tie. And then we're going to do one more pass. So one more pass, we're going to come up through the same stitch again. Pull it through. Down through the same stitch again. And that's your third pass. Now that the bulk is created for the middle portion of the tie. Okay, so we did 3 passes for the burgundy yarn, and this is all that I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it here, just like this. I'm going to cut, leaving this piece here in the head of the body. I grabbed way too much burgundy, which is alright, we'll use the rest of it later. And you're going to grab just a tiny, tiny amount. So probably maybe 3 inches of the gold. Maybe 4. Or gold yellow yarn, how would you like to call this color. And this is just going to make that stripe mark on his tie. So I twist the yarn a little bit, fold it in half, creating this loop, and I shove it through the needle to get it on there. And this one is going to be sewn at kind of an angle. I'll show you here. So if you look at his tie, the gold stripe kind of goes over at an angle. So we're gonna come up through the center like we have been. Finding this side stitch right about here. I'm going to come up just enough, leaving a little bit of a tail there. And then we're going to come back over, and we're going from this stitch right here to the bottom corner of this stitch. So push it back down through the corner of that stitch, and then pull it down. Pulling it snug, and then pull that off. I'm going to find my burgundy thread here, and just like this. And this is the only one I'm going to do this with. I'm going to tie a little bit of a knot here to secure this a little more tightly. So here we go. He has his head, glasses, smile, scarf, gold stripe for his Gryffindor scarf, or tie. And the next thing that we're going to get started on Alright, so for our next step, so right now he is at this point here, and we're going to start off with this burgundy stripe is what's going to be our round 20. So get your burgundy yarn and let's go ready for that. And for our burgundy side, starting here at round 20, we're going to do our burgundy yarn, and then we're going to go back to the medium gray yarn, and then eventually we're going to come back to make the dark gray yarn and start making the legs. So we got our burgundy yarn here. I'm going to use this scrap piece that I had cut previously. It should be enough to do what I need to do. So since this stitch was secure from before, we're going to take our stitch marker out. And to do our color change, I'm going to take out this stitch and finish it off how we did previously doing our color change for the shirt. So taking out the last stitch of round 19, put my hook back in, have my burgundy yarn ready, put my hook into that last stitch of round 19, grabbing it, prepping it for a single crochet. Instead of finishing it off with the gray, we're finishing it off with the burgundy. So grab your burgundy yarn, hold it against the body, yarn over with the burgundy, tighten down your gray, hold your gray with your finger here on the back, grab your burgundy, pull your burgundy through your gray, tighten your gray down, and now we have our color change for the burgundy yarn. And we're going to do one single crochet in each stitch for round 20. So into the next stitch, pull down my gray, so now that we're ready in the next stitch, once you go through both, remember to lay your tail over the top of your single crochets so that we can secure the tail into place. So temporarily hold your tail on the top back side of your single crochets, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through two. So keeping your tail on the top side of those stitches, go ahead and do another single crochet. That's two, and one more. That's three. That's enough to secure the tail in place. We can just leave the tail loose now. So since we've done 3 single crochets, to not lose our place, even though it's a different color, we're going to place our stitch marker. And then we're going to continue to work 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. I'll meet you back right before you do the last stitch because we're going to have to change back into the medium gray yarn. So I'll meet you back right before that last stitch. At the end of round 20, you're going to have 18 stitches. Okay, so I did all of them except for one of the last single crochet. We're doing this last one together because we're doing a color change again. So into the last stitch, insert your hook and prep for a single crochet, like this. Once we're prepped for the single crochet, we're going to finish the single crochet off with the gray. So that our gray is still connected to our work, we're going to grab our gray, put tension, yarn over, Once you have it yarned over, adjust your burgundy, making sure your burgundy is not too loose so that your single crochet is the same, and then pull your gray through, finishing off that burgundy single crochet. And that is the one round of burgundy. And then we're going to be moving straight on in to round 21, which is the last round of the medium gray. So to keep this secured in place, we're going to do 3 single crochets with the tail of the burgundy laying across the top of the burgundy stitches, the same way we did originally at the beginning of this round. So with our burgundy tail laying on top of our burgundy stitches, we're going to do 3 single crochets to secure that tail down. So 1, 2, and 3. And when you're going through the stitch and making sure that the tail is laying on top of the stitch so that when you pull your yarn around and secure it, it goes around the burgundy yarn. Now you're going to take, if you have an extra bit of burgundy yarn, go ahead and trim it. And the rest of it will be inside of his body. You're going to continue round 21, and you're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, and I will meet you back right before the last stitch so that we can change to the dark gray yarn to get ready to make his pants and his leg. So we finished this stitch all except for 1 stitch on round 21. This is the last stitch, and we need to do a color change from light gray to dark gray, same way that we did the burgundy. So into the last stitch, prep for a single crochet, so put your hook through, grab your yarn, pull up, have 2 loops. We have our 2 loops. Grab your dark gray yarn. When you have your dark gray yarn, lay it across the front of the body, using your thumb to hold it in place. Pull down my light gray to keep my loops the same size as the rest of the work. I'm using my second finger to hold it against the back side, squishing it together. I'm going to yarn over with the dark gray and pull it through the light gray, doing our color change. To secure our color change in place, we're going to go ahead and start round 22. So for round 22, instead of regular single crochets, it's going to be back loop single crochets. So doing back loop single crochets, I will show you. Okay. So when you look at your single crochets, you have 2 loops that create 1 stitch. So we have 2 loops here. We have this one towards the back side of your project and the one towards you. The one loop towards you is your front loop. The loop towards the back is the back loop. So when you're doing back loop only, you're going through the back side loop of your work instead of both loops. So, with our color change just complete, pull our gray down, leaving a little bit longer of a tail to hold it into our work. We got our dark gray ready, pulling everything secure. So now that everything's ready, remember we're going through just the back loop. Just this back loop here. Let's get you a little closer. Okay. So back loop. Go in the top of the stitch to hook just the back loop. Grab your dark gray yarn, pulling through like a regular single crochet, yarn over, and pull through 2. That's a back loop single crochet. I'll show you guys again. So here's our stitch. go in through the top side of the stitch, pushing it down through the top, through the back stitch. Grab your dark gray, do a single crochet. So down through the top, grab your yarn, pull through, single crochet. Here's what it would look like. So with those, you can still see this is the front loop of each of those single crochets. So keep doing one back loop single crochet in each stitch with your dark gray. So through the top here, so go down through the top with your hook and then go under that back loop. I'll meet you guys back once I finish the back loop stitch round, and you're going to have 18 stitches. So I finished my back loop single crochet round for round 22. You can kind of see the difference between just doing single crochet rounds and then this back loop round. That kind of creates this lip like the edge of this shirt. So now once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and cut our light gray to get it out of the way. We don't need it. We're going to be using the dark gray to finish off his pants. So we're going to stuff the body, and then we're going to start making his legs. So we'll stuff the body a bit. And if there's any more stuffing that you want to add to his head, now's the time. Because once we start making the legs, you're no longer going to have access. So if there's anything you want to change about his head, go ahead and do it now. So I'm going to go ahead and stuff the body a bit. I'm going to have the body be shaped about like this, so it has a nice shape, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so with my piece like this, I marked the center stitch from the front and the center stitch from the back. So from here to here, 9 stitches. From here to here, 9 stitches. Because this whole round is made up of 18, so I should have 9 and 9, so it's split in half evenly. I just marked these on the back loop single crochet round just to keep them out of the way so that they're not in the round that I'm working in. So once you have those marked, so in the written pattern in this book, they tell you, let's back you guys up. So in this book, that from the pattern, she shows you that she is holding the piece, instead of holding the piece like this while we're working, she's holding the piece like this. So once you're in round 22 and you count 9 stitches on each side and mark it with stitch markers like we did. So, and she says that the refer to left or right hand side of the figure is like this. The left leg will be made continuously. So we're going to make this one and then the next one. Like so. He's going to be facing you like this, and you're going to start working on this. So we're doing a single crochet in each stitch until you get to the back middle, and then do a chain 3, and then single crochet on the left hand side in the front middle stitch, single crochet each stitch around to the end, round 12 stitches including the chain. So we'll show you that in just a second. Okay, so I just want to show you, since reading round 23 sounds really confusing, this is what round 23 is going to look like when we get through with it. I'm going to show you how to do it on camera in just a minute, but we start here, we do 4 single crochets, we do a chain 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Once you get back to the point, you'll have 12 stitches, and then we're going to keep working around here, and this is going to create his left leg. We're going to come back and create his right leg later. So to show you round 23, we're going to take this out. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So my starting point is here on the side of his body. So you have it marked for the front seam and the back seam. So where the instructions say you're going to single crochet until you get to this back seam. So for me, that's 4 single crochets. So 1 single crochet, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's our 4. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can mark your first stitch here so that we don't overdo it. After your 4th stitch, you're going to do a chain 3. So holding this, you're going to do a chain. So 1, grab your yarn, pull through, and pull through like this. I'll show you one more time. So doing our chain 3, yarn over, and just pull through the loop. Don't pull it too tight. So yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through the loop. So that's a chain 1, 2, and 3. Once you have your chain 3, you're going to come over here to the front seam, find your 9th stitch on the front seam, and you're going to push your hook through that stitch and do a single crochet. So yarn over, pull your yarn through, 2 loops, yarn over, single crochet. So 4 single crochets, 3 chain, single crochet. Now you're going to rotate. So we were working like this. Rotate your body facing you. And we're going to finish off this round and do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So we go into the next stitch and do a single crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we have our 12 stitches. Take our stitch marker out, and it should look something like this. So for round 24, we're doing 1 single crochet in each stitch until we get to the chain 3. So we're going to start with 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get your stitch marker, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And got your stitch marker in place. So now we're to the point that we're here at the chain 3. And for the chain 3, you're going to work 3 single crochets in the chain 3 space. So finding your first chain, you're going to come right here through this top point of the chain. So if you're looking at the chain, it has a hole here in the middle. You're going through the hole to do your single crochet. So go through the top hole, grab your yarn, pull through with 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. That's a single crochet into the chain 3. So into the next chain, do another single crochet the same, that's 2, and into the last third chain, single crochet, that's 3. And you're going to do a single crochet right here into that single crochet that we did to secure the chain 3. So, and then you're going to keep doing 1 single crochet for the last stitch until you get to your stitch marker. Round 24, you still have 12 stitches. Okay, so I finished my round 24. This is the start of his leg, where they're saying this is his left leg. For me, if you're looking at it from the camera, this is my right side and that's my left side. So for me, this is his right leg, and then we'll come back and make his left leg. So for rounds 25 through 27 is simple. You're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around, ensuring that when you get to this point, you have 3 single crochets here in this middle leg portion, and the 1 single crochet over here right after the middle leg portion. Making sure that you use your stitch markers so you don't lose track, and you're going to do a total of 3 rounds. Rounds 25, 26, and 27. 1 single crochet in each stitch. I'll meet you guys back right at the last stitch of round 27 so that we can change into the black yarn and make his foot. Alright, so I did up to almost the last stitch, so stitch 11 of round 27. We have 1 more stitch to do. We need to do a color change again. So into the last stitch of round 27, you're going to prep for a single crochet, and we're going to finish it off with the black. So we got our black yarn laid across the front like we have been. Hold that in place, pull our gray tight, hold that in place. Once that's in place, yarn over with the black and pull the black through, finishing off that last single crochet of that round. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just do so here, before we get any further with the black, we need to take a look at his foot. So we're going to make sure that we're marking the middle point of round 27 so that we know where the front of his foot is going to be. Because while we're making the foot, it's not just going to be a circle, it is kind of rounded and pointed here at the front. So, round 27 is made up of 12 stitches, so you need to find the middle point being 6 stitches. So I'm going to do mine about, I'm going to take this one here because I no longer need this. I'm going to pull this over to the side. Just to get it out of the way. So this stitch right here, This is our number 12. So I would say three stitches back. So in the book they say 2 stitches. So 1 and 2. So I'm going to mark the 3rd stitch back from the last stitch. So we have stitch 12, 11, and 10. So 1, 2, 3. That's the stitch that I'm going to mark. I'm going to use this as the front middle point for his shoe. So once we have that stitch marked, we can continue on with round 28. So we have our black and gray secure. Temporarily we can leave the gray attached. And when we're working with this black, we're working on just back loop rounds. So leave a little longer of a tail, keep it towards the back. And where we were originally doing back loop rounds before, remember that when you're looking at your single crochets, you have a top loop and a bottom loop. So this one here is the back loop, front loop. So go through the top portion of the single crochet and slip it just through the back loop. So grabbing our back loop here of our first stitch, I'm going to grab it from the inside, pull it up a little bit so I know exactly what I'm looking for. So going through the top of the stitch, pulling yarn over through, 2 loops, doing our single crochet. And that's our back loop single crochet. We're going to do 1 in each stitch until we get to the mark stitch, and then we're going to come back and show you what we're going to do at the mark stitch. So 1 back loop single crochet until you get to your mark stitch. So I did a total of 9 single crochets from here to here until I got to the point where I marked that middle stitch. And for this middle stitch, we are going to do, I'm going to take this out so it's not in the way. And for the middle stitch, we're going to do 3 double crochets. So I have 3 stitches left to complete this round 28. They said 3, in the book it says 3 double crochet bob, and I'm assuming that they mean to do 3 double crochets in each one of those stitches. And for this one, we're not going to be working in the back loop. So we're going to yarn over to prep for a double crochet, put our hook into the next stitch, grab our yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. That's 1 double crochet in the same stitch, and 1 more in the same stitch. That's 3 double crochets. Into that next stitch to it, and do the same thing. So yarn over, put your hook in the stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So 1, 2, and 3. And do the same thing in the last one. So 1, 2, 3. Kind of looks like this, creating his shoe. So we're going to go ahead and trim off the dark gray yarn. Just leave a little bit of a tail so it doesn't come out, like this. Put it in a foot. And then for round 28, they want us to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So into the first stitch of that round, we're just going to do 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've done 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So in the book it still says 12, but creating this is going to help create the puff of the foot, so I have 19. So since I did that round, and I did that extra single crochet round, okay, so we did round 28 with the double crochets, and then we went on ahead and continued and then just did 1 single crochet in each stitch around. For round 29, they say that you should have 12. I have 19 because of the double crochets that we added. So I have a total of 19. So we're going to do a decrease and we're going to close up the bottom of this hole. So into our next stitch, we're going to do a decrease. So go into the next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through 2. That's 1 decrease, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. So, where for hers, she did 6 decreases. If you have 12 stitches, you do 6 decreases. I have 19, so I did 9 decreases. I'm going to do another round of decreases to close up this better. So you just keep doing the same thing we just did, 2 stitches together all the way around until this hole is closed up. So before I continue closing off his foot, I'm going to go ahead and add some stuffing here onto this side of the leg. So we're going to keep his leg in place here, making sure that the stuffing's coming all the way down. And we want his leg to be nice and firm. Now that we have his leg stuffed and firm, we're going to continue with the decreases. So I'm going to keep doing decreases until this is completely closed up. And you're just going to take and go into the next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through. And just keep doing those decreases all the way around. And I'll meet you guys back once that's fully closed up. So we finished all the decreases. Once you do your last decrease, just do a chain 1 to secure, and we'll do a chain 1 and cut. So I added some more stuffing to the leg, adjusted the shape of the foot, and then the tail that I had, I put the tail through the bottom of the foot, through the body, up through his back. I left the tail here so that when I pull on it, I can adjust the foot and make sure the bottom of it's flat to give him the best chance of being able to stand up once we're done. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get started on his other leg. So we're going to get ready to do the other leg. So we need to reattach the yarn. When we reattach the yarn, we want to leave about this much length of a tail so that we can sew up the small gap between the 2 legs when we attach this here. So leave that one a little longer and then start your slip knot all the way down here, leaving yourself enough of a tail so that you can stitch up his legs. So now we have our slip knot. We're going to use this stitch right here and we're going to attach it. So put your hook through, put your slip knot on your hook, pull it down snug, pull it through, and secure it with a chain 1. So go back into that same stitch and do a single crochet, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet all the way around his leg up to this front stitch here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we're going to do our chain 3. So chain 1, chain 2, and chain 3. And we're going to come back here to this first stitch we made. Right here. Grab our yarn and place our single crochet there. And that's going to be his other leg. And that's our round 23 for the right leg. Okay, so for the rounds 24 to 27, we're going to copy what they had written for the left leg. So the next round is round 24. And what we're going to do is place 1 single crochet in each stitch and then 1 single crochet in each chain 3. At the end of round 24, you should also have 12 stitches. So here, from here to here is 9 single crochets, and then from the chain 3 is just 3 single crochets, and that's a total of 12 stitches. I'll meet you back at the end of round 24. Alright, so that's my round 24. When I got to here, we just did 1 single crochet in each top point of the chain, same way that we did on the left leg. So I'm going to go ahead and do rounds 25 through 27 off camera. I'll meet you back at the last stitch for round 27 so that we can change over to the black yarn. Rounds 25 through 27, you're still going to have 12 stitches. If you need an example of it, just go back to how I did the left leg. It's exactly the same. Okay, so I made it to the end of round 27 with just a little bit of yarn to spare. Into the last stitch, we're going to prep for a single crochet. And we're going to grab our black. And we're going to switch over to our black thread. So with our black thread, hold it against the body. Pulling our gray down tight, holding the gray against the body. Yarn over with the black and finish off that last single crochet. So I'm going to pull a little bit longer of a black tail because the next round we're doing is back loop only. So the same way we did it last time, remembering that you have this loop and this loop. This one here is your back, this is your front, so go through the top and pick up your back loop. I'm going to go ahead and do that round with the back loop only, and that is going to be 1 back loop single crochet until we get to this point here, just like on the other leg that we marked that middle point. So I had 1, 2, 3 stitches on the front. So we have 1, 2, 3. So we're going to end up doing So we're ready for our back loop. I'm going to do 4 back loop single crochets. So going into that back loop, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and do the same thing for the next stitch. So that's 2, 3, and 4. And now, the same as we did on the other foot, we're going to do 3 stitches, and they're each going to have 3 double crochets in each stitch to make his shoe. So in the next stitch, we're going to yarn over, put in, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and that's your double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. That's 3 double crochets. I'm going to do it in the next 2 stitches, and I'll meet you back to finish off the single crochets. So we have our double crochets, and then now we're going to finish off the round with just back loop single crochets. So going into that back loop again, single crochet, back loop, and back loop. You still have 12 stitches, and then we're going to get started on the next round. So I finished that round, and with that round I had 4 single crochets in 3, that's 7, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You're going to end up doing 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for round 29. So now that I did this next round of the foot, I'm going to go ahead and do my decrease round. And I'm going to keep doing the decrease the same way that we did on this foot over here until the foot is completely closed up. Before it gets too closed up, make sure you add some stuffing here into the leg. If you want to adjust the shape of him at all, now's the time to do it before he gets all sewn up together. Alright, so we got his leg taken care of. You can see my one leg are 2 different sizes. That's alright. It's not very noticeable. While you're doing your 2 legs, make sure that you're just repeating the same process on this side, on this side. So we got to sew up this gap here. And so my thread's already attached here. This is the tail from the chain one that we secured. So I'm going to go up here to this front stitch. And pull it through. And then I'm going to go into the other stitch equal to that one. And I'm going to loop it over and pull it through to secure that stitch together. And then we're going to go in between the legs, and we're going to take the 2 stitches that are close to one another and going to pull them tight together. And the same things with the 3 stitches in the middle of his leg. We got one more. These are the chain 3 space that we had in between his legs. Once you have that secure, I'm just going to take and shove this kind of up this way out of his back. So we're going to adjust his feet a little bit. Pull this back thread to adjust his foot here. And pull this a little snug. So we're going to take this tail on the other foot and we're going to take care of it. So now we have that. I'm just going to go up through the bottom of the foot. Once you got it going up through the bottom of the foot, and work your way through the stuffing. And we're also going to go out the back of his body. So we got that back up through the body there. We're going to shape the foot how we want. Pull on the other one as well. Get the body back into shape. And then grab this gray one. And go ahead and take this out. So he has his legs and his feet. So for these pieces, I'm going to pull them up a little bit and then I'm going to snip them off. Same with this one, pull it up a bit, snip it off. And then from that point it will stay in there. So the next thing we're going to do is going to make the arms. So we'll go ahead and get set up for that and we'll get started in just a minute. So this is my Harry Potter so far. I did this arm off camera. I'm going to show you how to do the other arm here in a few minutes. My one leg is a little bit bigger than the other leg, that's alright. And you're going to leave the arm detached like this so that you can put his robe on if you make his robe. This is what he looks around the back. So let's go ahead and get started on that other arm. This right here is the written pattern for the arm. So we're going to have our cream yarn, our light gray yarn, burgundy, and that's all we need. And just a little bit of stuffing, not too much. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to grab our cream colored yarn. So they do the chain 2, work 6, single crochet into the chain 2. I don't really enjoy that method. I'm going to do the magic ring. So to make a smaller magic ring, since we're only doing 6 single crochets, I don't need to go around both of my fingers. I'm just going to use my one finger. So the same way that I would do a magic ring with 2 fingers, you're going to hold the tail against your one finger, go over the top, under the bottom, and cross. And you're just going to go under that first strand, over the second strand, pulling it down, same way you do a magic ring, twisting it towards you, grab your working yarn and pull through. And this just creates a small magic ring, so you don't have as long of a tail. And we're going to go ahead and put 6 single crochets. So into the magic ring, grab your yarn, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, into the circle, grab your yarn, pull through 2. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to pull our tail down and tighten it. And here we're also working continuous rounds. We're not doing any slip stitch or chain 1. So into the next stitch, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. And this is going to be round 2. So in round 1 you had 6 single crochets. Round 2 we're doing 1 single crochet in each stitch, so we're still going to have 6 single crochets. So into the first stitch of the round, we're going to put our hook through, grab our yarn and pull through 2, doing our single crochet. And then another one in the next stitch. You're going to keep going. If you lose count easily, put your stitch marker here in the first stitch and then keep going around. I'll meet you back at the end of round 2. You're going to still have 6 stitches at the end of round 2. Okay, so I did 5 single crochets, but we have to switch to our medium gray yarn. So I stopped at the 5 single crochets for round 2 because we're going to do a color change in the last single crochet. So we got our bit of yarn here. And then we're going to take our thread, same way we were doing our color changes before. You're going to lay your gray over the front of your project into the next stitch. This is the last stitch for round 2, so the 6th single crochet. So we're going to grab our cream, pull our cream through, yarn over with our gray, and then tighten down your cream real quick. There we go. So alright, so before finishing your 6 single crochet, you're going to leave your 2 loops, and then you're going to get your gray yarn, your medium gray yarn, and you're going to finish off the 6 single crochet with your gray yarn because we have to do a color change. So grab your gray yarn, lay it over the front, yarn over with your gray, and pull it through. Once that's in place, you're going to continue on into the next stitch, and the next stitch with the medium gray is going to be 2 single crochets, and so an increase and then 2 single crochets. So into this first stitch of round 3, we're going to do an increase of 2 single crochets. So we have 1 and 2. And then into the next stitch, we're doing a single crochet. And in the next stitch, single crochet. We're going to do this same sequence one more time. I'm going to go ahead and flip my work right side out because it's starting to curl and it's getting a little hard to get into. So starting the sequence again, so into this next stitch we're doing an increase, 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. And then in the last 2 stitches you're doing 1 single crochet. So 1 and then 2. So now that we're here at our last stitch, we have to change from medium gray to burgundy. You can go ahead and cut your tan yarn here, or cream yarn, because we don't need to go back to the cream anymore. So we'll get that out of the way. So let's grab our burgundy. We don't need too much, just a little bit of burgundy. I'm going to take about that much. You're going to take your burgundy and do it the same way that we did the gray color change. I'm going to lay it across the front. I have my 2 loops here for the gray, yarn over with the burgundy, and pull it through the 2 loops, making sure that the gray is tightened down. Grabbing the tail of the burgundy, laying it across the front so that we can work it into our project. So into the next stitch with our burgundy, we're going to do one single crochet in each stitch, and you'll have a total of 8 stitches. So 1, 2, and then 3, and then you're going to keep doing that. You're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. When you get to the last single crochet, you're going to stop and you're going to do a color change back to the medium gray. So I'll meet you back at the last single crochet of the burgundy to do a color change. So I made it back. I did my 8 single crochets, but I did not finish off the last one. So we're going to finish off, you have your 2 loops from your last single crochet in round 4. And we're going to switch back to the gray. So using the gray to finish that last single crochet. So round 4 has a total of 8 stitches, and then you're going to do rounds 5 through 8, and you're going to do a total of 1 single crochet in each stitch. You're going to continue to have 8 stitches. If you lose count, use your stitch marker. You're doing a total of 4 rounds, and I'll meet you guys back for round 9. So this is my round 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here's the area where you can kind of see the difference with the color change, and this is what the other side of the arm looks like. So our last round is round 9, and what we're going to do is a decrease round. So we're doing 2 stitches together and then a single crochet in the next 2. So into our next stitch, put your hook in, grab your yarn, pull through, next stitch, put your hook in, grab your yarn, pull through. We have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's your decrease. The next 2 stitches, you're doing a single crochet. So in the next stitch, single crochet, and then the stitch after that, you're also doing a single crochet. So we've worked a total of 3 stitches so far. You're going to do the same thing one more time, the same set. So we're doing another decrease. So into the next stitch, pull through, into the next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then a single crochet in the next 2. So in the next stitch, single crochet, next stitch, single crochet. And then that's finished off on that one. And to secure your yarn so it doesn't come undone, you're just going to do a chain 1. So grab your yarn, twist around and pull through and just pull up. Leave a little bit of a tail. I say probably about this much. Not too much, just enough of a tail to sew the arm onto the body. You pull this up, and now this is secure. It's not going to go anywhere. So I use the yarn tails to stuff up the hand a bit. If you want to add in some more stuffing, you can, but I think mine's good with the yarn scraps. So we grab our Harry Potter, and you grab your arm. So if you want the seam here, it kind of looks like a seam of a sweater. I don't want this on the top. I want to make this on the top so it looks good. So we're going to make sure that's on the bottom. We're going to shape the hand the way we want it to be. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to attach it in the same area that we attached the other one. which I did about 1 stitch away from his collar here. So we're going to do 1 stitch away from his collar, starting it right here. And if we look up right here, have it on there, I believe that that looks pretty good. Like this. So let's go ahead and get that on there. And the way that I do this, I twist this thread tight, make a tiny loop. I have nails, so I use my nail to push it through the end of the needle, like that. And remembering that we're going to be 1 stitch away from his collar. So his collar, 1 stitch, and it's going to start coming out here. So I'm going to go in through the back side here, and this is where I want it to come in at. So we're going to pull that through, get his arm up a little bit. Make sure that if the seam, you don't want the seam in the front, make sure that you put it on the bottom. You can flatten his arm. And once you have his arm on there, through the front, you're going to go through this top loop here. And I'm just going to simply loop through the same stitch again. And then we're going to pull it down tight. And check to see that his arms are in about the same place. Once you're satisfied with his arms, you want to go ahead and fasten it on the rest of the way. I actually think mine's a little too far back, so I'm going to adjust mine front real quick. So now that we finished his arm, we're going to sew it onto his body. So I'm going to take my yarn and twist it around so I can get it onto the needle. Once I have it on the needle, I'm going to go into the back of the stitch that I want it to go into, and then come out the front right here. So I'm going to pull this through and then adjust his arm in place to ensure that the seam is on the bottom, since I don't want the seam to be showing. Once we have that, we're going to come up through the 2 layers. So I'm going through the top stitch line of his arm. We're going to pull it snug. Check to ensure that it's in the place that you want it to be in. And once you're sure that it's where you want it to be, you're going to take and go back through the top of this and pull through. So you go back into the top, I push it in and then pull it out this side. And then I'm going to go back in the same stitch again on the top. Come through the same stitch. Securing his arm on, like this. And that's what his arm looks like there. So to ensure that that stays in place, I'm going to take his rest of this thread, shove it through the top of his shoulder, come out on the other side, through his body, pull it through and pull it down. You're going to put a little pressure on it and then snip it. The rest of that's going to go back into his body, and now his arm's secured and it's not going to go anywhere. So that's what his arm looks like from the side and the back. The next thing we're going to do, which is the final thing that we're going to do, is make his hair. So grab your brown yarn and let's get started. Okay, so we have our brown yarn in our hook. This is the written pattern for the hair. If you want to pause to read this. First thing we're going to get started with is they do a chain 2, work 6 single crochets like they were before. I'm simply just going to do the magic ring. So to do this magic ring, same way that we did it before. So we're going to wrap it around the finger, back across the top. Since I'm just making a smaller magic ring, I'm going under the first strand, over the second strand, grabbing our second strand, pulling through. It's the same way that we were doing the previous one. So now we have that. We're going to do 6 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So pull your thread through. And then you're going to go ahead and start for round 2. So this is your round 1. We're not doing a slip stitch or chain 1 or anything, just continuous rounds like before. So in round 2, you're doing 2 single crochets in each stitch. So into the first stitch, put your hook through, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1 and 2. Place your stitch marker, keep going with 2 single crochets in each stitch. At the end of round 2, you'll have 12 stitches. In round 3, we're going to be working what's called a spike stitch. And this here, let's see. This is the description for a spike stitch. So instead of working into the top V, we're just working into the bottom row beneath it when we do the spike stitch. I'll try to show you the best I can on camera, but this is the written description of it. So let's get started with our round 3. Round 3 is 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then a spike stitch. So into their next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets, so 1 and 2. And then when we do our spike stitch, this is the previous round. So instead of going through here, we're going to go into this hole right here that was made on the last round. Like right there. But not into this. This is the first round, this is the second, and this is our third round that we're starting right now. So for our spike stitch, we're going to come here. So here's your 2 top loops, and then that middle area. Grab your yarn, pull your yarn up, even with the rest of the work, yarn over, and then pull through 2. That's your spike stitch. So we're going to keep repeating that for round 3. You're going to do 2 single crochets in the next as an increase, and then you're going to do a spike stitch in the next stitch. Repeat that 6 times, and you're going to have 18 stitches at the end. So this is what we have for round 3. You can kind of see it sticks out here, 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 and here. That's the spike stitch, kind of making a staggered shape. So for round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then a single crochet in the next 2. So we're going to take our stitch marker out, and with round 4 we're going to do 2 single crochets as an increase. So 1, 2. Then in the next stitch we're just doing 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch 1 single crochet. It's a total of 4 stitches worked. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your stitch marker in, and then you're going to do again an increase of 2 single crochets and then a single crochet in the next 2. Repeat that same sequence a total of 6 times. At the end of round 4 you should have 24 stitches. Alright, so we finished round 4. We have 24 stitches. This is what we look like so far. Round 5 is going to be another increase and then spike stitch and then single crochet. So for round 5 we're doing an increase. So we got 1, 2. That's our increase. And then we're going to do a spike stitch in the next. So our increase is right here. This is our normal single crochet, so this right here is our spike stitch. So we go here, pull up, that's your spike stitch. Into the next stitch you're just doing a single crochet and 1 single crochet. So I'm going to mark this just so I'm sure. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So an increase, spike stitch, single crochet. We're going to repeat this 3 times. It's not going to take us all the way to the end. So that's 1 time, and then into the next stitch we're doing an increase. So 1, 2, spike stitch, single crochet. That's 2 sets. Into the next stitch, increase. So 1, 2, spike stitch, single crochet. That's our set of 3. That gets us to about right here on our circle. And then you're going to do a spike stitch over the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that 3 times. So spike stitch, pull it up, equal with the rest. So 1, 2, and 3. Like this. Alright, so round 5, this is what I have here. You're not making it all the way around here, so this is where you're going to stop. You should have a total of 27 stitches all the way around. So round 6 is just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. I'll meet you back after I finish round 6. Okay, so this is my round 6. I did 1 single crochet all the way around. You can see right here, these are our 3 spike stitches from the previous round at the end. So you'll have 27 stitches. Once you get your 27 stitches, in round 7 you're going to spike stitch over the next stitch and then single crochet. And you're going to do that 13 times. So from here, in the next stitch, we're doing a spike stitch. So we're not going into the top bit here, we're going to go into the bit underneath it. Which is covered by the other spike stitch here. So once you get into that area for the spike stitch, You're going to pull up, yarn over, pull through. So it's a spike stitch and then a single crochet. So into the next stitch is that single crochet. So we're going to mark, this is our first one right here, which is our spike stitch. And then in the next one, we're doing that spike stitch again. So going down into that previous round, put your hook through, spike stitch, single crochet, and then into the next one, we're doing a spike stitch again. And then a single crochet. So far we've done that 1, 2, 3 times. Go ahead and do it 10 more times and I'll meet you back when I get to the next point. Alright, so I finished the first 10. You can see my spike stitches here, starting from here to here. And the next portion of round 7 is spike stitch over the next stitch, chain 1 and turn. So into your next stitch, do your spike stitch again, grab your yarn, pull it through, that's your spike stitch, chain 1 and turn. So now we're working in rounds. This is going to create the rest of his hair down the side. Alright, so we did the spike stitch and then the chain 1, and now we do a turn. So now we're going to be working in rounds back and forth, not all the way around. Or we're going to be working. Alright, so we did the spike stitch and chain 1 from round 7. You should have a total of 27 stitches. I'm going to take my stitch marker out here. And so now for rounds 8 and so on, we're going to be working in rows. Where before we were working in rounds, going all the way in complete circles, we're going to be working in rows. So we're going to go from one side, back, chain 1 back, and so on. So for round 8, we're going to single crochet in the next 27 stitches and then chain 1. So into our next stitch, we'll do a single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're at 5. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Put your stitch marker down. And then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13. So go ahead and keep going. You're going to keep going with one single crochet in each stitch until you get to 27. When you get to 27, you're going to do a chain 1 and you're going to turn your work again. This is what it looks like so far. I'll meet you back in just a minute. Alright, so we did our 27 single crochets. You can see how there's a little bit of a gap right here. That's going to be there because when you put his hair on his head, when we get more of it crocheted, that gap is going to go right over the top of his head to show his scar. So let's keep going. So at the end of round 8, we're going to do a chain 1 and we're going to flip our work. Round 9 is 2 stitches together, a spike stitch over the next, and then a single crochet over the next, and repeat that 11 times. So for round 9, we're going to start off with a decrease. So into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, decrease. That's your decrease. And into the stitch, next stitch, you're doing a spike stitch. So go into that lower row. This is the top one. We want to go into the lower one. Going into that lower one to do our spike stitch like before. Pull up and pull through, and there's your spike stitch. Then the last part of that sequence is going to be a single crochet. So it's a total of 3 stitches worked, and we're going to repeat that 10 more times. So into the next stitch, we're doing our spike stitch. All right, so to repeat this sequence again, we're doing a spike stitch. So going down into the previous round, pulling up, that's your spike stitch, and then single crochet. So we're going to do this 9 more times. Spike stitch, single crochet. So keep going, and once you finish off the spike stitch and single crochet, I'll meet you back for the next step. So I've repeated that a total of 11 times. So this is here where we started, and then this is the last stitch of the previous round. So we have a few stitches left. To finish off row 9, you're going to spike stitch over the next stitch, do a decrease, and then a chain 1 and turn. So in the next stitch, we're doing a spike stitch like before. That leaves us with only 2 stitches to work, and we're going into there to do a decrease. Into the next one, grab our yarn, all 3, a decrease just the same way that we did at the beginning of the round. This is just emphasizing that gap in between his hair. So at the end of this round, you're going to do a chain 1 and turn. You should have a total of 25 stitches at the end of round 9. Round 10 is going to be a slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, a single crochet in 18, and so on. So into this stitch, you're doing a slip stitch. So to do a slip stitch, you're going to put your hook in, grab your yarn, pull up, and just pull through. Into the next one, grab your yarn, pull through. Those are 2 slip stitches. And then single crochet in 18. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to put our stitch marker down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is just marking where I started my single crochet, so I know how many I did just in case I lose count. I'm going to finish that off doing a total of 18 single crochets, and I'll meet you back once I finish that. Alright, so I did my 18 single crochets. We're going to do a chain 1 and turn. It's okay that we're not going all the way to the end. This is just creating his hairline in the front. So for round 11, we're starting off the round with a decrease. So into that stitch, pull through, into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's your decrease. Then you're going to do the spike stitch over the next and the single crochet over the next, similar to round 9. So you have your decrease, and then into the next stitch, do your spike stitch, going into the lower round like before, and then a single crochet in the stitch after that. You're going to repeat that spike stitch, single crochet sequence 7 times. After you do that, you're going to do 2 stitches together and then a chain 1 and turn. You'll have 16 stitches at the end of round 11. I'll meet you back just before I do the 2 stitches together for round 11. Okay, so I did my spike stitches right here. looking like this from this side and then from this side. To finish off round 11, we're going to be doing the next part, which is 2 stitches together. So yarn, next stitch, yarn, next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2. This is what we have here. And then we're going to do a chain 1 and turn. Now you have a total of 16 stitches. So for round 12, you're just going to be doing 1 single crochet in each stitch and then do a chain 1. I'll meet you back at the end of round 12. So this is our round 12 here. This is what his hair cap is looking like so far. You have the different stagger here at the front and then the body of it coming down the back. So now we have that. At the end of round 12, we're going to do a chain 1 like that. And for round 13, we're going to be doing, so we did our chain 1 and turn, and round 13 we're going to just start with a decrease, so 2 stitches together, and then into the next stitch we're going to do our spike stitch single crochet sequence, and we're doing that 6 times. So find your next stitch and do your spike stitch and then a single crochet. So that's 1 spike stitch, single crochet, 2 spike stitch, single crochet, 3 spike stitch, single crochet, 4 spike stitch, single crochet, 5, and then spike stitch, and then single crochet, 6. And then at the end of round 13 we're going to do 1 last decrease, so 2 stitches together. So in the last 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops all the way through. That's your decrease. Chain 1 and turn. You have 14 stitches now. You're going to do row 14. Row 14 is just going to be starting off with a decrease. So a decrease for row 14. So 2 stitches together. And then in the next 10 stitches, you're going to be doing 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Here, and then we're going to do a decrease in the last 2 stitches. So put your hook through, yarn over, pull through, hook through, yarn over, pull through, all 3, chain 1. And that's it. That's the end of round 14. Row 14. And then you're going to fasten off, leave 12 inches of yarn to secure it to the head by sewing inside the edge. So from here, once you do your chain 1, you're just going to pull up and then you're going to go ahead and cut. Make sure you leave a tail, and I'll show you how we're going to sew it on in just a minute. Alright, so this is the hair on him. This is what I have here. So I'm going to place it on his head where I see is fitting right. And then since my yarn is over here, I'm going to work my way this way, down the back, and sew. Straighten out his hairline back there. And I'm simply just going to take my tapestry needle, and from here I'm going to go over one stitch through his head, under another stitch, out the side, pulling it through, and then we're going to come down here down the side because I want to keep this secure. So I'm going to come over one stitch, go into his head, come back up, and back through his hair again. And this is going to secure it to his head. So when you're going through the hair, you're going to go through his head as well. And you pull it through. And you're going to ensure that it's in the place that you want it, and adjust it if necessary while you're stitching it on. Like this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish stitching this around, and I'm really just doing the same thing. I'm going over one stitch, coming under, and when I'm coming under, I'm making sure to grab one of the stitches of his head and coming back up through the hair, and to go back over, down into the head, and back up through the hair. You're going to keep doing that around until you feel that it's secure. Once it's secure, stick it back through, pull through, and pull it tight, so we'll do a snip. I'll show you when I get done. So here I have his hair on his head the way that I want it. This is the last stitch. I'm going to push it through the top, push it out the back, pulling it up. Once you pull it down, pull it on it tightly a little bit and snip it off. It's going to go back into the head. Shape them out, and there you go. You made Harry Potter. You have your own crochet Harry Potter. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this Harry Potter crochet. He came out really cute. We're going to make his robe in another video another time. I'll let you guys know on my channel when I'm going to be posting that soon. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with your friends to share for more crochet content. And I will be changing my upload schedule. I will be doing only one video a month and occasionally posting some YouTube shorts. If you have any special requests, comment them on my latest video and I'll check them out when I can. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys again soon.